Friend, father, lawyer, call Frank Bruno Jr., attorney at law.
Welcome to Frank Bruno Law. I am Frank Bruno. I'm an elder law and estate planning attorney in New York. Today I'm going to answer a couple of frequently asked questions. How does elder law differ from general law practice? Well, elder law is a subspecialty of estate planning. Elder law attorneys help individuals and their families plan for retirement benefits, health care, long-term care, Medicaid, Medicare coverage, Medicaid law, and home care and nursing home care. We also help with decision-making documents, provide guidance on other legal issues for seniors, for people with disabilities. And a lot of times, seniors and people with disabilities are grouped together because of government plans. We provide clients and their families with a holistic approach because I spend a lot of time, learning about the needs and wants of my client. My work is not just transactional. It's not just documents. I think with the client, along with the client, and I quarterback a team that includes financial planners, accountants, insurance agents, other professionals to design and implement an appropriate plan each client. So another question is, what age should a person contact an elder law attorney? Well, there really is no right or wrong age. Elder law is not really defined by a set period of time. Some people start earlier because they have exposure to end-of-life decisions for a parent or a loved one. So elder law could start at 30 years old. But really, by age 60, you should start the planning process. The longer you wait in life, the more you run the risk of your money not being protected, or you may lose your capacity because of health conditions, because of health issues, because of just life in general. I also recommend that clients do, where possible, multi-generational planning by helping their kids, maybe in their 30s or with young children, think about what plan they might need. Clients often ask, what should I do in advance of a meeting? Well, I help address your concerns and streamline your solutions so that there will not be issues with your estate and family later. Questions that I ask you are, do you receive any VA benefits? Are you on Medicaid? Do you have community Medicaid? Do you have a supplemental insurance policy? Do you have a long-term care insurance policy? How long do you plan to work? When do you plan to take your Social Security? Have you looked at the socialsecurity.gov? Do your children need help? Do they need financial help? Can you give it to them? Do you have a pet? Who's going to take care of your pet? Do you want to set up a pet fund? Do you want to give a stipend for your pet? Do you have guns? Do you have certain collections? Do you want to put your guns, your collectibles in the trust? The latest thing is people's online accounts. They become disabled or pass away. Years ago, we never had to think about legal issues like online security, but I know the questions to ask. We carefully walk through the planning process. Another question is, what about planning for a disabled or dependent child? So if a child is receiving government benefits, we might want to set up a special needs trust so they don't lose those benefits. This way they'll have the benefits and the money will be available. It's also important to consider who might be the appropriate trustee for the child with disabilities. Do you have another adult child, an adult child that could help your other adult child with special needs? Other people ask, do I need to avoid probate? Well, some people will plan with beneficiaries, some will plan with a trust, some will do nothing. Another question, how do I avoid estate taxes? Well, the U.S. estate tax exemption is now $11.18 million per person, 22.4 for two people. That's a sizable amount of money. Many people will be under that amount and there'll be no federal estate tax. Is elder law for the elderly? I had a comment from a friend of mine and said, I'd like to use your services when I get a little bit older. And I responded jokingly, elder law is not for the elderly. In a way, that's accurate. In a way, it's not accurate. So estate planning, traditional estate planning had been wills, trusts, power of attorney. How do you get your assets upon your death to the people you wanted to go to, your loved one. And elder law is a focus on a certain population, the elderly. Now, the concerns of the elderly would be similar, wills and trusts, perhaps, with a focus on long-term care planning, Medicaid planning, healthcare proxies, issues related to diminished health. Now, a young person may not need those services. However, if you properly plan your estate while you're a younger person, you can eliminate certain issues for you and for your family when you become older. I'd like to speak about asset protection. The American dream is often viewed as spending most of your life working, saving, sacrificing, so that in your golden years, you can live comfortably. You could save your money, save your assets, and then share that excess, whatever you've accumulated, with those that you love after you pass on. Many people do all of these things, but forget these hard-earned assets are not properly protected once accumulated, that everyone, from the creditors to the government to predators, can take a piece of the pie, possibly all of it, possibly even more than half. Asset protection is a vital part of the estate planning and elder law services that my office provides. If you would like to discuss asset protection, Medicaid planning, please reach out to me. Call frankbruno.com. I have some articles on my website, Frank Bruno Law, concerning Medicaid, spend down, asset protection, legally permissible strategies that can be employed to protect the American dream. So, what is asset protection and how does it work with elder law and estate planning? So there's a couple of different types of asset protection vehicles. You may hear that the rich, the Vanderbilts, the Gettys, right? JP Morgan, they had trust. What they did is they put their assets in the trust so that they could protect themselves, protect their assets, pass on to the next generation. So we use a similar vehicle. It's fine for the middle class. Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. That could be the title of the document. And what we do is we legally permissibly take assets and put them into the trust. And lo and behold, those assets are safe from creditors and predators. They're safe from lawsuits. They're safe from nursing homes. Now, there's a little bit of an interplay between when are they safe and how long something has to be in a trust, right? So I'll break it down like this. As soon as you put something into a trust, it's immediately protected. Immediately. As long as you record it. I have a house. I put my house into the trust today and it's recorded. It is safe. Now, that means if I get into a lawsuit tomorrow, the trust is protected. If I get into a lawsuit individually, right, if someone sues me personally. Now, that doesn't mean that I could put my house or property into a trust and put someone into a nursing home tomorrow and immediately qualify for Medicaid. That's a different question. That's a different situation. In order to qualify for Medicaid, you need to have your assets in the trust or out of your name for more than 5 years. So when should you do this asset protection? Well, ideally, at least 5 years before you need to qualify for Medicaid. What can an elder law attorney do for you? Well, there is a broad range of areas of practice that an elder law attorney can handle. So I'll tell you some of the things that I do. And if you need assistance with any of the areas of practice that I mentioned, please reach out to me. So, wow, I'm stumped because Elder law is as I mentioned, is a broad field. So let me stop stammering. I'll just tell you. I handle guardianship. So although guardianship does not always affect exclusively the elderly, it is an area of practice that more frequently affects the elderly because of the infirmities associated with dementia and Alzheimer's and, well, the 150 varieties of dementia. So that's an area that I handle. Then again, I also help people prepare and pre-plan for long-term care costs. So that is an area that affects our senior population. Nursing homes are astronomically expensive, and you can only pay for those in 3 ways, right? So if you have an insurance product, such as long-term care costs, an insurance product like a disability policy, or if you have a life insurance policy that has a rider where that'll pay for your long-term care costs. So an insurance product or money from your pocket, your savings, annuities, equities, money in the bank account. That's the second way. Then the third way is to file an application for government aid. That's Medicaid. That could assist you if you qualify. I can help people qualify. We do it in advance with pre-planning, and I could do it under a crisis planning then. Sometimes I get that call. My mother's in the nursing home, 2 months. This is what we need to do. Or it's imminent, right? So I could handle that as well. So guardianship is if you don't properly plan or have an anticipated situation, pre-planning, regular plain old vanilla documents, right? Sometimes what people need is a will or a will substitute. Again, young people need a will or a will substitute and a plan. But again, the elderly are more affected by that, right? It's something that is top of mind as we near a finite period of time on Earth, right? So it's just a few things that an elder law attorney can do and what I could do for you. How would you find an elder law attorney? How would you find an estate planning attorney? Well, you can get a referral from a friend. You can speak to family, see who they've used. And when you speak to that attorney, you have to realize that it's an ongoing relationship. And do you feel comfortable with that attorney? You're going to be sharing personal information. So you need to have a level of comfort and trust with that attorney. You should look for someone experienced in the field, whether or not they've been doing this particular area for a long period of time, have seen a wide variety of cases, met different challenges, and gotten to see a broad cross-section of the field. How about a specific emphasis on the area of practice, really through by conduct and courses and training. You can also ask about their affiliations. Are they attached to both local and national bar associations in the field of elder law and estate planning? Elder law follows a person by age, right? An elder person, there's no bright line, no mark. It says it's 65 and older, and maybe 65 nowadays is the new 45. Right? People are healthier for longer, living longer, working until an older age. But elder law does follow the person by age. And there's a number of things, practice areas, that really coincide or that really happen simultaneously. So I'll give you some examples. Recently, I had an elder couple, 71 and 69 years old. They sold their home and they moved to an over 55 community. So that was something that, and that many elder people deal with, right? Selling the home, the only home they've known for more than 40 years, selling it and downsizing. And people come to me relatively early in the process, and we look at different communities, and I discussions with them about that. And so that's one type of area. Another thing is guardianship. I've spoken at length about that. It's an adult guardianship. Another practice area is financial abuse. So I've been contacted and I've had cases that involve one person taking advantage of an older person based on the fact that they're a little bit infirm, a little bit naive, a little bit gullible and susceptible to predators. So that's another area. I have also helped people that are older with holding off an eviction. All right. So landlord-tenant action, where I've been able to successfully give them enough time to find a program or a resource that could help them. And finally, for today, the gray divorce, right? That's a divorce that happens with some of our seniors, 65 or older, to say the least. I have represented people in their 80s that are married more than 55 years. And it's unfortunate, but when you have that situation, the entirety of their life and savings, estate plan had, for the most part, been created. And you have to unwind some of the prior estate planning techniques, devices, things such as a will or a trust, change beneficiary designation. You have to change beneficiaries on life insurance and 401ks. So there's quite a lot to do for our senior population. If you have any questions about this, send me a message, give me an email, and I'll talk to you about your situation. If you like this information, please share it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Be well.
Friend, father,